As of One Piece chapter 1056, Buggy created a new organization known as the Crocodile. Now, a lot of people have been complaining about this organization due to the fact that specifically Mihawk is a part of it. And they're saying that because Mihawk's a subordinate of Buggy, it ruins his reputation, he's potentially a fraud, this proves Shanks over Mihawk, and things of that nature. But in this video, I'm here to cast the agendas aside and explain why the Cross Guild is probably one of the most exciting things to happen in recent chapters, as well as the fact that I believe a lot of people are overlooking how impactful this entire organization is to the story as a whole. As we know, as of recently, the One Piece world is in tatters. The Revolutionary Army grows in numbers and popularity, thanks to Sabo's recent accomplishments at the Reverie. Two Yonkos, Big Mom and Kaido, were defeated by Monkey D. Luffy and his alliance, as well as the fact that the Marines' forces are being spread thin. And then to put the cherry on top, the newly dubbed Yonko, Buggy the Clown, has an organization that is placing bounties on the heads of Marines. Now obviously Buggy's new Yonko title is attributed to his new organization, the Cross Guild. But what type of influence exactly was it that Crocodile and Mihawk brought over? Now when it comes to Mihawk, we can all assume he brought over Yonko caliber strength, which gave Buggy some type of credibility when it came to forces. But what did Crocodile bring over to the table? Crocodile had Baroque Works, but Baroque Works ended a long time ago. So I'm starting to think that Crocodile has been doing something these past 2 years that has given him a lot of influence. Now whatever that is, I have absolutely no clue, but I feel like that's probably the missing piece to why Buggy grew in influence so quickly. Now I know ever since Doflamingo has been taken down, Buggy has taken over the underworld, but I always felt like that wasn't enough to be deemed a Yonko. So it's clearly because of what Crocodile and Mihawk brought over to his organization. And for all I know, even Mihawk probably has more influence than I'm giving him credit for. It's just that we haven't seen too much of these two characters, so it's really hard to gauge exactly what they brought over to the table. But if the influence of those two wasn't enough, the fact that this organization is placing literal bounties on the Marines is absolutely crazy. The Marines were already stating that their forces were spread thin. Now at first I thought it was the hunt for the warlords that was spreading the Marines forces thin. Now though this may be the case, I also believe that it is this exact organization, the Cross Guild, that is the reason Akainu said a few chapters ago that they do not have many forces to spare. It is because of this organization hunting down Marines and taking them out that the Marines are actually on the defensive. For the first time ever in the story, they need to watch their backs. And the implications of this is huge, because that means the reason Buggy was even dubbed a Yonko is not only because he has Sir Crocodile and Dracule Mihawk under him, but because his organization has already accomplished something. They must have already done something for the Marines to say, okay, this man is a danger that rivals that of the most influential pirates in the world. Now though Buggy may have gotten this position through purely luck and chance, what this organization is doing is simply undeniable. They are flipping the established order on its head. And there are some theories that Shanks might have had something to do with this when he was talking with the girl. Say the pirate he was talking about could have been Buggy. He could have put in the word, and that could be the mystery factor to why Buggy is growing just so quickly. And what I'm most excited for is the potential of this organization. What we are witnessing now is literally only the beginning. Imagine if Buggy goes to recruit Boa, breaks out Doflamingo from Impel Down, frees other prisoners like what Blackbeard did. Maybe even teams up with the Revs. I mean, they may not do things exactly the same, but I can definitely see some type of temporary team up because they're all going up against the government, so it would make sense. But the alliance that I think is probably the most probable and the most exciting is Shanks, Luffy, and Buggy. For the first time in history, we may see 3 Yonko teaming up to fight against the world government and Blackbeard. And if this happens, this will be a spectacle. Imagine a force of the Red Hair Pirates, the strongest crew in the One Piece world. The Straw Hat Pirates, potentially the true strongest crew in the One Piece world, or the second strongest crew in the One Piece world. Along with the entire Grand Fleet of 5,000 plus members. And then on top of that, you throw in Buggy, with the Cross Guild, which probably even has more members than the Grand Fleet, because it's literally a guild, and guilds usually tend to be places where anyone could just join in, grab a bounty, and start hunting. So Buggy possibly has the most forces aside from the Marines in the entire story, because when you think about what he's doing, the incentive to join Buggy is there. As a pirate, why would you not? He's offering you payment to hunt the oppressors, the government. He's giving you a chance to strike back, to be part of something greater. I honestly don't see why most people wouldn't take that chance, especially with the recent events in the world with Sabo and the rebellion starting all across the world. It's a perfect time for something like Cross Guild to exist, which is why Oda's honestly a genius, and I'm just so excited to see where this goes. But it would be so much fun to see Luffy interacting with Buggy again, and Buggy interacting with Shanks again. It would just be an amazing experience all around, and we could potentially see some interactions between Mihawk and Zoro, and it will just make Shanks look all the better, because it's kind of like it was his plan all along to set up 3 Yonko against Blackbeard, because if Shanks really did tell the Gorosei about Buggy, and that's helped Buggy gain so much popularity and notoriety, so that would mean that Shanks had planned this from the very beginning, knowing that Buggy was an old friend who he can trust, and that Luffy was of course somebody he could trust as well. A big brain play. But yeah man, the Cross Guild. Oda in his bag with this one, I'm telling you. We just gotta give it time. Oda's really gonna show us what this Cross Guild's about, and it's gonna be fun to see how Buggy managed to stumble himself into this Yonko position. But yeah, that's gonna be the end of this video on why the Cross Guild is greater than you think. This organization is taking back power and making the government, for the first time, literally pretty much ever that we know of in the story, have to constantly watch their own backs, have to constantly worry about citizens taking their heads and killing them. This is mayhem, this is chaos, and as of this moment, we can attribute it to Buggy the Clown, the future Pirate King.